I'm going to talk about myofascial energetic release and how it works effectively with chronic pain. First, I'll talk about chronic pain. Up to 80% of human population at one point suffers from chronic pain. Another very interesting fact is in America, up to 40% of the population at any given time is suffering from chronic pain. Chronic pain, therefore, is the biggest health problem on the planet that humanity suffers from. Chronic pain has been misdiagnosed and misunderstood for such a long time and continues to be. When you go to the doctor with, say, a low back pain, which is by far the most common chronic pain that people suffer from, they take a picture, they do some diagnosis, and they declare that you have, mostly they declare that you have something wrong with the disc. The disc is the tissue in between the vertebrae that holds the vertebrae together. And it's a very strong fibrous connective tissue. It's a type of fascia. Yeah, and in the middle of that disc is what's called nucleus pulpus, which is a fluid which is like oil. So it's a shock absorber because fluid can only compress to a certain state and then it doesn't compress anymore. So what their diagnosis is that disc tears off or degenerates, or there's a tear in the disc that pushes on a nerve, a spinal nerve, and thus causing chronic pain in the lower back. What I'm saying is that chronic pain is not caused by the disc problems or in the diagnosis of arthritis, osteoarthritis, which is inflammation in the joint. Chronic pain is caused by soft tissue contraction over 90% of the time. And soft tissue meaning muscle and fascia. Now, muscle and fascia has 10 times more sensory nerves than muscle. So when there's a chronic contraction in the fascia, it compresses on these sensory nerves. Now, some of those sensory nerves in the fascia are called nociceptors, which are pain receptors. So as the fascia contracts and it compresses those pain receptors in the fascia, thus causing pain. Now, if there's a low level of contraction, you might just feel the light pain that just follows you throughout the day. If there's a high level of contraction, then you feel really strong pain. Now, people who have chronic pain never get this diagnosis, or very rarely, only by people like me or people that understand that fascia is the cause. As it being the biggest health problem on the planet, and misdiagnosed and therefore mistreated, it continues to get worse and worse, and people suffer from it. 40% of Americans at any given time, up to 40%, can suffer from chronic pain. Now, this is a very interesting fact that 85% of those people that suffer from chronic pain have severe depression. 85%. So it's not just a health problem with the body, it's also a health problem with the mind and the emotions. It's a mental health problem. 85% of chronic pain sufferers suffer from severe depression. And if you've ever had chronic pain for a longer time, you realize that it depresses you. I had it for 10 years of my life, and it got better through somebody who understood that soft tissue was the problem and released the soft tissue at a level where the pain never came back. Myofascial energetic release works with releasing the cause of chronic pain, which is tight, hardened, contracted fascia. Now, as that fascia releases, we look at the underlying cause of what creates the fascia to contract at that level in the first place. It's repressed emotions are the main cause of that high level of chronic contraction. So the underlying cause is repressed emotion or energetic holding patterns in the soft tissue. So what we do with myofascial energetic release is we work to release the muscle, the fascia, but also the energetic release or the emotional awareness and release. And as that happens, we release the underlying cause and the chronic pain goes away. Just yesterday, I worked on somebody who had chronic pain for the last 14 years, so bad in their neck, a yoga teacher and an owner of a gym, but so bad in the back of their neck that they had bad headaches and stuff. In that session, she opened up and cried and released, and I released the fascia of her neck and her throat and her face and her head. And it was the first time in 14 years in one session that she didn't feel pain. She's going to come back for more because it's a continual process to open up and release and hold that release so that she never goes back into pain. But this is just one story. It just happened, so I share it. So this work, myofascial energetic release, has the ability to unwind, uncoil, and release the holding patterns in the fascia and get to the underlying cause of that holding pattern, which is energetic and emotional holding patterns, and also release and bring awareness there to those energetic and emotional holding patterns, and therefore supporting the person to live pain-free.